Hello everyone, welcome back to the mcfc lads YouTube channel. Now this is probably going to be quite a strange video for a lot of people that watch videos normally. I don't normally stand up and just sit here and talk to the camera, but that's what we're going to be doing today. It's the João Cancelo situation that we're going to be talking through. It's a very, very strange one, if I'm perfectly honest with you. In this video there's going to be a lot of things you probably didn't know. There's also going to be a few things you do know, and to be honest it's just a bit of a discussion in the comments. I want to hear what you think about this whole situation as well. But yeah, we're just going to go for it. So for starters, João Cancelo, a year ago, he signed a 5-year deal at City. Cancelo committed his future to City, and City committed their future to João Cancelo. Now, it's an agreement, obviously, in a contract that both parties have to be happy with for things to go ahead. And now we find ourselves just a year later in a situation where City almost want to get rid of Cancelo. Cancelo wants to leave too. In fact, 6 months ago in January, we'd already got to that position. Cancelo wasn't happy with his minutes despite being the third most played player in the City team by January. It was a really strange situation. Not many people knew a lot about it, but the bottom line was Cancelo wanted to leave. A lot of the players and of course the manager seemed to have fallen out with Cancelo, and it came to a very abrupt ending his time at City, of course winning back-to-back titles, coming in 2019 and doing so well, and then of course he went to Bayern Munich, and things didn't get off to a great start at Bayern Munich. Of course they did have a managerial change that we'll talk about in a second, but he wasn't quite getting the minutes he wanted, and I don't know whether the Bayern fans had taken quite to him how he wanted them to take to him. Not only that, Bayern's system didn't particularly suit him. City, of course, have got 4 centre-backs now at the back, which is a strange system to somebody looking at this a year ago, but of course we've now won the treble with that system, so Cancelo getting in is up for debate, definitely, and even the likes of Kyle Walker, his future is up in the air at the moment. So we'll continue with this little story. Cancelo in January leaves, City going to win the treble. Cancelo wins the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. But of course, in between those two things happening, City played Bayern Munich over 2 legs in the quarter-final. So I'm going to bring you back to that moment. It's around March time. And the Champions League semi-final and quarter-final draws take place at the same time. City get Bayern Munich. And then, of course, the winner of Chelsea and Real Madrid. We know that went on to be Real Madrid. But the main thing is Bayern Munich over 2 legs, and the way the UEFA rules work, Cancelo was able to play in that game. It's a strange one. He's on loan from City, but even if he's playing against his parent club in a European competition, he's allowed to do that. So he was going to play against City. He was a little bit out of favour, but he basically came out in a press conference and he made a quote about Thomas Tuchel, and I'll paraphrase that quote now. Now, before I get into this, I don't want any hate towards this guy. I wish him no harm, and I wish him all the best in the future, but I just don't see a future for him at City after these events. The quote was something along the lines of, Thomas Tuchel took a Champions League trophy away from him in 2021, of course being the Chelsea manager. Cancelo was at City, and he basically said he wished for Tuchel to bring him one in 2023. Now that is a weird statement to make. Even though he's at Bayern, his parent club is City, and it's a strange thing for him to come out and say in the press. So I quoted this on the mcfc lads socials, on Instagram and Twitter, and I got a very strange DM at the end of March, right? So this quote had been out maybe, I don't know, a couple of weeks. Cancelo DMs me the post directly, and he typed a lot of stuff. Now, he didn't type anything that he's probably particularly regretting, but he was very angry, and to be honest, if I was him, I'd personally regret it, because he just lost his head, to be honest, in my DMs. Now, as I've said, I don't wish him any harm. Things were amicable towards the end, but it was a weird thing for a player of his standard, a player of his kind of ilk. I've had interactions with players before. They've always been very good, very genuine. And even though this guy was making his feelings known to me, it was a strange thing for him to do. He was very, very upset. He said that the post provoked hate towards him, which I don't feel it did. It was a direct quote. It was just stirring the pot a little bit ahead of a big game. And Cancelo had seen it and taken it to heart massively. He was very upset. I made him very aware. We'd, of course, relay these quotes and things back for any game. It wasn't picking on him. But he was very upset. He said, of course, he'd committed himself to City and the fans. He didn't want people getting the wrong end of the stick. But unfortunately for him, that was the quote. That's what he had directly said. I didn't wish him any hate, even if he'd taken it that way. But for him to come into my DMs and send 10 to 15 upset messages, that was a bit strange. It showed where his headspace was at. And of course, City went on to destroy Munich, if I'm honest. 3-0 in the first leg and 4-1 on aggregate. So it was a weird situation for that guy to DM me. And as I said to him, I'll tell you what I said now. I just said we didn't wish any hate on him. There was no hate directed towards him. But he did say all the best at the end, and I said all the best to him. I won't share these messages or screenshots of them because I don't want to get taken the wrong way by anyone at all. But the bottom line is this guy lost his head in my DMs. And if he's doing that, what is he doing on the training ground is my question. So that's why I feel this guy cannot return to the club. Of course, we now know there are reports of him leaving, but he is training at the moment with the first team at the City Footballing Academy. So it's a weird one. Will this guy stay at the club? I personally don't think he can. But if he was to, I feel it'd be such a weird situation in the way he left. I don't feel Pep gives people second chances, but he lost his head in my DMs. And I'm sure he did worse at training or a team meeting or whatever situation he was in. This is all speculation, but I just feel this guy can't play for us again. So please let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this were. I've kind of opened up here a little bit on a past event. It took me a while to do so. I didn't want to throw the guy under the bus, but I thought it's quite interesting. It might shed some light on the guy's future, because I just don't think João Cancelo will play another game of football in a competitive way anyway for City. So please let me know your thoughts. As I said, I don't want to wish this guy any hate at all. All these views are my own, of course, and you can disagree or agree them if you want. And it's just a weird situation. I personally don't think he'll play again. Make sure you let me know what you think in the comments. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. And, of course, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.